हर महादेव। नमस्ते, स्वागत है आप सबका नए एपिसोड में, पार्ट 3 के पार्ट 2 में। अगर आपने नहीं देखा है पिछला एपिसोड तो प्लीज़ जाके देख लीजिए। पार्ट 1 में मैंने गणेश भाई के साथ बात की है और हमने कई सारी चीज़ें वहाँ पे एक्सप्लेन की है। पशुपतिनाथ टेम्पल के बारे में, उसकी हिस्ट्री के बारे में, जो अंतिम संस्कार होता है उसके बारे में, जो डेथ रिचुअल्स होते हैं हिंदूज में उसके बारे में, और पार्वती मंदिर जो है उसके बारे में, सैक्रिफाइस के बारे में, जो एनिमल सैक्रिफाइस होता है बलि कहते हैं उसके बारे में। तो कई सारी चीज़ें एज अ रिकैप मैं आपको शॉर्ट में बता रहा हूँ जो एपिसोड 3 के पार्ट 1 में मौजूद है। तो प्लीज़ वो पार्ट पहले देखिए और फिर इस पार्ट पे आना। और आप जब इस पार्ट में आओगे तो मैं अभी आज वापस कंटिन्यू कर रहा हूँ गणेश के साथ, जो बाकी के और चीज़ें हैं पशुपतिनाथ में विच आर रियली इम्पोर्टेंट टू बी नोन व्हेन यू कम हियर एंड यू कैन पर्सनली कम हियर। आप यहाँ पे आके उसे एक्सपीरियंस कर सकते हो एट योर प्रेजेंस कि एक्चुअली में ये कैसा है और यहाँ पे क्या है देखने जैसा। हो सकता है आपको और कुछ नया सीखने मिले इस वीडियो के अलावा। तो प्लीज़ पहले पार्ट 1 देख लीजिए और एक दिन का गैप लेके हम ये दूसरा एपिसोड कर रहे हैं। कल मैंने जो परसों एपिसोड गणेश भाई के साथ किया था उसके बीच में कल मैंने ब्रेक लिया है और आज हम वापस आए। बहुत ही ब्यूटीफुल दिन भी है आज का, बहुत ही खूबसूरत दिन है। बारिश भी गिरी है कल, तो अभी बहुत फ्रेश लग रहा है नेपाल में यहाँ पे। तो कंटिन्यू करते हैं आज का एपिसोड, सो प्लीज स्टे ट्यून्ड। ऑलराइट, so we welcome back Mr. Ganesh on episode 3's part 2. Ganesh, how are you?
All good.
All
Namaste, everyone. Yeah, it's been a chilly morning today.
Yeah.
It's beautiful though. It's a little bit cold, but yet it's beautiful.
Yeah.
The rainfall in the winter.
Yeah.
This is almost the end of the winter. It clears the sky and welcomes the new season.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as far as we remember, we were talking about the history of the temple.
Yes.
About
Yes.
the
Yeah.
Jyotirlinga, the eternal statue, which was created
Yeah.
with the light
Yeah.
because by Lord Shiva. Yeah. So
And you also said that there are like many more stories behind the establishment of the temple. Correct. So it depends on the people on which track they are. Okay.
totally.
They can follow a track from Tibet, which will connect them to Manjushri and all those deities, and they can continue the track from maybe from Vaishnavas or Hinduism, where it will connect them to Krishna, Lord
Yes.
Krishna,
Uh-huh.
right? And they can also come from Himwat Khanda, which I'm not completely aware, or Nepal
Mahatma.
Mahatma. So they can find the kings of the Nepal and everything on that track. So just to keep in the mind, we have to make sure that the stories that is been informed in our episode can be not the only story. There are other stories related to the same history. Okay.
We may say that. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So as we were talking the other day, how the statue came to exist, the Jyotirlinga. What we see right now, this stage is the Salikram statue, the precious black stone found in the holy river. But before that, there used to be a Shiva Linga, which was made up of light. So we talked about how it came to happen. So we were discussing about Brahma, Vishnu, and Indra coming down to take Lord Shiva when he was in the transformation of a deer, but he did not want to go back, and then he asked those three gods to go to different three realms, the heaven, the earth, and hell as well. And he got hidden under the earth, and those three gods, they got the broken pieces of the deer horn. So the story, one of the legends about that, one of the stories.
About the establishment of the temple.
About the temple. Now it was established later. But we are talking about like 1,000 years before. We're talking about the formation of the Jyotirlinga Linga. You see the statue.
Okay. What's inside the temple? We're talking about.
Yes, the main sanctum, the main statue. See?
Yeah. Sorry, I got that. now.
Yeah, and then there are so many legends, so many myths, so many scriptures which explains the formation of the statues in very different way, and so this and that here and there. The point is, how important it has been in the various eras. The Pashupatinath temple, the statue, and its existence, and so most of the historical information that holds the formation of Kathmandu Valley tells us that it has always been a huge lake. Okay, and so some mystic person from Tibet came and cut the lake and drowned the water to the southern direction, according to Tibetan chronicles. Whereas the Hindus says that Lord Krishna from Banaras, he came along with his team Gwala, the one who used to look after cows, and then the statue was always there. The Pashupatinath, the supreme manifestation of Lord Shiva, has already been in Pashupatinath area, but somehow because of disasters, the statue was drowned in the lake. So he came from Banaras, which is geographically these days in India, Lord Krishna and his team, and then he had an idea to revive the statue again, drowning the lake water to the southern direction of Kathmandu. So he did, and then the statue was found again, and then the Gwala who came with Lord Krishna are known to be the first kings of Nepal. Now when we say Nepal these days, now it's a one united country, but back in those days Nepal means only the Kathmandu Valley. So in Kathmandu Valley there are three main districts. It used to be three different kingdoms back in those days, and valley is all surrounded by the hills. So this used to be proper Nepal at that time. So when they say Nepal and all in different kind of Puran, different Vedic scriptures, it's not the whole country Nepal, but just Kathmandu Valley. Yeah. And then so the Gopal Chronicles, according to Gopal Chronicles, the Gwala asked to Pashupatinath if they wanted to be the rulers of Kathmandu Valley, and then the one who asked to be the king was instantly given blessing by Pashupatinath, and therefore he became the king of Nepal. But there is again another story about the formation of Jyotirlinga, how it was explored from a Mahabharata story, you see. So the Pandavas, of course we all know about Bhagavad Gita. It was a fight between the Pandavas and the cousin brothers, and during the clash between these brothers, Pandava, to get the power and to win over the brothers, they happened to kill many of the own relatives. They killed their own father groups, the brothers, the relatives, the grandfathers. Their all hands were full of blood of their own clan. And we know in Hindu religion, killing our own relatives mistakenly or knowingly, it's a sin. So even after their tenure, their younger generation were not doing fine, the Pandavas. So they wanted to redeem to themselves from the sins they have made killing their own clan members. So the only one who could give them redemption is Lord Shiva, of course. So they were looking for Lord Shiva in different places, and then they would know that Nepal is where Pashupatinath is. So they came from India to Pashupatinath to find Lord Shiva, but somehow Pashupatinath knew that the Pandavas were coming to him, and he did not want to forgive the Pandavas that easily. So Pashupatinath, he became a bull. Okay, so the Pandavas were chasing the bull, but bull Shiva was running away. He just did not want to give an easy run. So when they were so close to catch the bull, the bull happened to go down the ground, but somehow Pandavas, one of the Pandavas managed to hold the tail of the bull. All right. So when it happened, the bull's head became to stay at Pashupatinath. The tail went to Kedarnath in India. Similarly, the navel and other body part went to different part of India and Nepal. So it is considered that what is Pashupatinath, what we call Pashupatinath these days, is not just anything but the divine head of Lord Shiva. So the point of all this thing is we can take out different historical information of Pashupatinath temple from various scriptures, stories, myths and legends. But whichever story that you want to read, it's all fascinating and it all connects and let us know that it has always been the place of God. Section of temple area is where the meditators, yogis, sannyasi, gauris, they practice their respective cults. Pashupatinath area has always been a place to get enlightenment, attain the highest level of existence, moksha or nirvana. Because of the blessings of Lord Shiva, it is quite easy to get this kind of supreme state of life, doing meditation or spending a life of a sadhu in here. So in Pashupatinath, even though it's Pashupatinath temple, Shiva's temple, there are so many holy men who follow different sect of Hindus monks. Like some follows specifically on the Shiva, Saivism, some follow Vishnu, Vaishnavi, some follows Durga, Mahakali, Shaktism, and there are some people who stroll around the cremation area to play with the spirits, the spirits of the dead person, all dressed in black. They are a bit cannibalist in nature, but for them everything is equal. They don't have any discriminatory intelligence. You see, they take everything equal, and for them the dead body and a living person is equal. They eat the food, they eat the excretory as well. So they are called Gauris, and they have their own rituals, practices which they perform around cremation area. Temple has been a place for the Hindus devout, but Buddhists as well equally come to pay respect to Lord Shiva. Once in a year, there is a special day where Pashupatinath is worshipped, following the rituals of Buddhism. And in this place, where there are many caves, there are two caves which is called Naropa and Tilopa. So Naropa and Tilopa are Buddhist practitioner. One came from India, the other from Tibet. Naropa is the student and Tilopa is the teacher. And they tried different places, to do meditation, to feel the supreme state of existence, to attain enlightenment. And it is said that when they came to Pashupatinath, they stayed in those caves, they did meditations, they practiced different kind of rituals, and they was succeeded to achieve enlightenment. So this place is not only common among the Hindus, but it is equally important for Buddhists as well. So this actually symbolizes the relationship between Hinduism and Buddhism, and how much generous the Hinduism is towards the other religions.
So in the last episode, you have seen that we have shown about the mythical characters on the temple door, the carving of the mythical characters, which were Chepu, Garuda and Hitimanga. So now we are gonna cover a little bit more about them, a small little more story about Chepu and the significance of these characters on the temple.
Always on the door, we call it Toran, the semicircular part of the door of the Hindu temple. There lies a mythical creature biting the snake with a very scary look. We call it Chepu. And Chepu has three other siblings and we can see all of these three mythical birds on the different part of the temple. So just below Chepu we can see Hitimanga, and then on the corner side of the temple, on the edge, we can see Garuda. So Garuda, Chepu and Hitimanga belongs to the mythical birds family, and then Garuda is the half bird and half human, the vehicle of Lord Vishnu. Likewise, Hitimanga is the one who keeps the blessings of fulfillment of water for the entire universe. And then there comes Chepu right on the top, and the story goes like this. The father and mother of Chepu, Hitimanga and Garuda wanted a child who would be the mark of superiority, a very super bird. And then the mother could not hold the patient enough to give a healthy child. So when Chepu was born, he came to be an underdeveloped physical wise. So what we can see is just the face and the hand of the body, hand of the Chepu, but not the rest of the body part. And then when Chepu found himself to be a very ugly looking creature, he was very, very unhappy with his appearance. So he went to Lord Shiva and complained about how ugly he has been created. But Shiva, he tried to console him, telling that we all are good in our own way, and then nobody is good looking, bad looking, this kind of things. And then, so to make him happy, he asked Chepu to be right on the top of the door where Hindus would worship him before they actually worshipped Lord Shiva. So that is why Chepu is always on the door of the Hindu's temple, especially in Nepali Hindu temples. Sometimes in place of Chepu, on the Toran of the temple, we can find a different but somehow looks similar art, that is what we call Kirtimukh Vairav. Okay, so if there is this sculptures with a bird's mouth, with a beak, then it's Chepu. But if it's just a human-like face, scary face, looks like a lion, that's Kirtimukh Vairav. And there is an interesting story about it. There was this demon named Jalandhar. This is a story which is mentioned in Padma Purana, one of the Puranas among many. And so it says that the Jalandhar has an assistant, his messenger, his servant, whatever you may refer, called Rahu. And Rahu was told by Jalandhar to go and provoke Lord Shiva. So following the instruction of Jalandhar, Rahu went to Pashupatinath, and then talking to Pashupatinath, he was starting to tell many bad things about Lord Shiva. Oh, you were like very ugly looking god. You do not deserve a beautiful wife like Parvati. You've been always walking around the dead body burning place, cremation area, and you've got such an elegant, beautiful, gorgeous wife like Parvati. Come on, you don't deserve a beautiful wife like that, So Shiva was really furious. And then, angrily, he was so angry, like somebody insulting Lord Shiva like that. Yeah. He took out a creature out of his eyes, okay. A very angry, very scary, very fierce looking creature, a human, but with the lion face. Okay. So he was created by Lord Shiva to kill Rahu, for he was telling so many bad things about Shiva and Parvati. And so as soon as Rahu saw this lion-faced human being created, he started running away from Shiva, and then he's being chased on and on, and he was very close to be caught. And then, so at the last moment of his life, Rahu started pleading to Lord Shiva, "Oh no, Shiva, it was such a mistake that I did. Please forgive me. You're the only one who can forgive and save my life." And Shiva is one of the traits of Shiva is he's called as Asutosh. Asutosh means one who can be easily made happy. So looking at the pleading of Rahu, Lord Shiva quickly forgave him. But now there is a problem. So Shiva created the lion-faced man to kill Rahu, but Shiva forgave Rahu, and then The lion-faced man was really complaining to Lord Shiva. I was so close to, find my prey, and then you forgave, and he's now no more. I'm so hungry, I'm dying of starvation, this kind of things. And Lord Shiva was again, so why are you complaining so much? If you're that angry, why don't you eat your own hand, feed, your body part? It feeds you, And then, without any second thought, so obediently, this guy started eating his own body part. And Shiva was stunned, he was astonished, somebody eating his own body. And then Shiva realized, oh no, he is very, very obedient, very, very dutiful, a loyal person. Yeah. So he should be Shiva God, one of the clans of Lord Shiva. And that is why he is kept always on the door of Lord Shiva. So this guy is nobody but the Kirtimukh Vairav. That is why the Kirtimukh Vairav has only the head part. Because he ate himself the other part of his own body. And one of the sculptures that we can see in these temples here is the statue of Vishnu as well. Vishnu being the god of protector, he is always carved around the temple, telling the people that the temple has to be protected. In these temples we can see the tail of Vishnu making a round around the temple. So as he is the god of protection and preservation, so he is protecting Lord Shiva, the temple of Lord Shiva. Likewise, we have different other sculptures of different gods. Ganesh and Vairav are always there, at the same place. So if we see here, whenever we go to the temple or any religious complex, it is very important that we worship to Lord Ganesh in the beginning. Okay, so even entering before Lord Shiva's temple, it is very vital that we worship to son of Shiva. So that is why always there will be the statue of Lord Ganesh around the Hindu temple complex. And Vairav is the one who does not let any evil spirit enter inside the temple. So it's sort of like he is sort of like the warrior, caretaker of Lord Shiva.
Okay, so now we are walking more further. Like there are steps on this temple. We can go like at a higher level. So we covered most of the part of that level. Now we are walking up on the stairs to the next level, where we'll find Gorakhnath temple.
Yes.
Okay, so
Gorakhnath temple, and these steps lead to Vishwarupa temple, Guheshwari temple, the upper region of Pashupatinath area.
Okay, so the upper deck, it has got more each deck has their own temples. So now we are going a little more higher, and we'll talk about it.
Now we are at Gorakhnath temple. Just behind us is Gorakhnath temple, and Gorakhnath temple is very, very important, and it has a very important significance in the history of unification of Nepal. From its religious aspects, from its spiritual importance, it also has deeper meaning for the unification of Nepal. Gorakhnath is a yogi who nobody knows where he was from, how he was born and all, but he used to meditate in the cave, which is situated in Gorkha region. Gorkha is one of the districts which is away from Kathmandu Valley, and Gorkha is the kingdom. It was the kingdom. It is a part of Nepal now. It was the kingdom in the ancient time where the king who unified Nepal was born. So he belonged to Gorkha, and Gorakhnath, who is believed to be himself the incarnation of Shiva, used to meditate in the cave which is in Gorkha still. And so Gorakhnath is the great yogi. He could know about what's happening. He can know about the past and future of the person looking at his face. So such a divine soul. And so there are many Gorakhnath temples all over Nepal and also in India. And this one is in Pashupatinath. It's built in Sikharai style temple. There is an interesting story about. Alright, let me tell you, and you'll figure it out yourself how interesting this is. So he was doing meditation in a cave in Gorkha, and then a little boy, accidentally happened to see a yogi doing meditation in an isolation in the cave. So looking at the little boy, disturbed, yet very kindly, he asked the Gorakhnath asked the little boy if he wanted to have curd or yogurt, and then little boy was okay, all right, give it to me. But what Gorakhnath did is he first put it in his mouth, he gargled his mouth and then spit it and asked the little boy to keep it on his hand. And the little boy was like surprised, what the hell is happening? Somebody throwing the spit out of the mouth and asking to drink. But a little boy denied. Before that, what happened was the little boy went to his home to ask his mother that he found a yogi doing meditation in the cave. The mother knew that he must be that great soul, a yogi doing meditation. So the mother asked the boy to do whatever the yogi would ask him to do. But the little boy was himself. He was so himself that he did not want to do it, and that's why he denied such a great yogi. But when the yogi spitted the curd, he did not raise his hand. He did not keep it in his hand. So it happened to drop on his feet. And so the yogi, the Gorakhnath, asked, "Why did you do so?" And he said, "He simply did not want to do that. It's not me, Oh no, you did such a big mistake. If you have drank it, if you had kept that, if you have put it in your mouth, you could have won any kingdom in this entire world just with the command of your speech. But what you did is you just dropped on your feet. Power is on your feet. So you need to have a little bit of difficulty. Wherever you put that step, that is going to be your country, your kingdom." And this guy is none other but Prithvi Narayan Saha, the great king of Nepal, the Maharaj, who united all the small kingdom of Nepal and made one unified country. If he was not there, probably we would not be Nepali and Nepal would not be in the globe. There are different subtle, the holy monuments where the Gorakhnath Sampradaya people, the Gorakhnath sect follower lives in. They have a big ring on their left ear, which is made up of bones, and they are the savior of Gorakhnath sect. They practice yoga. They look after different animals, cows, monkeys, dogs, and all. And they are the one who are believed to be the savior of Gorakhnath, the whole country Nepal. Gorakhnath, while he was doing meditation, yoga, he always used to, pray to Manakamana. Manakamana is one of the goddesses who is known as wish-fulfilling goddesses. Manakamana, as the name itself tells, that she is the wish-fulfilling goddesses. Gorakhnath used to awaken Manakamana. So wherever there is a Gorakhnath temple, on the side there has to be Manakamana temple. So it's a tradition when we go to Gorakhnath temple, we have to worship to Manakamana Devi as well. So we can simply light a butter lamp and offer to these god and goddesses. And please do not forget to make wishes. Manakamana temple, she makes wish comes true.
Hey, bhai.
Around Gorakhnath temple area, we can see many of the small temples. Most of them are dedicated to Shiva, and many of the temples here are actually the Mahasamadhis of the Gorakhnath communities. So this section of the temple area, Pashupatinath area, is for the Gorakhnath Sampradaya. So around Pashupatinath temple area, we can see a small jungle. It has always been a nature, but because of civilization, most of this Pashupatinath temple area has been encroached by the locals building concrete buildings and all. But still, we can find small part of jungle and vegetation. So the jungle here is divided as Slesh, Mantak, and Mringasthali. So Shleshmantak jungle is right in front of us. Shleshnag did hard meditation to Lord Shiva, to impress Lord Shiva, and being happy towards such a great dedication of Shleshnag, Lord Shiva asked him to stay and protect this forest. So it is called Shleshmantak jungle, and this is where Shleshnag is been living. And the other part of the jungle is called Mrigasthali. Mrigasthali. Mriga means deer, Sthali means the place. So the place where the deer lives is Mrigasthali, and it's called Mrigasthali because in the time of gods, Lord Shiva himself transformed as a deer. So this is why it's called Mrigasthali, and still there are so many deers kept inside this jungle. This is a Vishwarupa temple, and it was built in 18th century by the Rana Prime Minister called as Janga Bahadur Rana. So there is an interesting history about this temple as well, like every other temples around Pashupatinath area. So he was on the way to Tibet, and then he saw a giant stone in the Himalayan region. So he somehow internally started thinking that if I win the war against Tibet, I'm going to bring back this giant stone no matter how many people it requires to carry it. And eventually he won, So he brought the temple all the way from Himalayan region. He brought the stone all the way from Himalayan part to Kathmandu, placed it in Pashupatinath area, and constructed Vishwarupa temple. Okay, and before that there was already the temple of Kama Kameswari, which was established by Pratap Malla, one of the Malla dynasty king, somewhere around 17th century. Yes, and it's been destroyed because of the earthquake. They're still in process of rebuilding it. Outside of the temple area is where they practice yoga, and up there you can see beautiful windows. This is Newari style house, and always the Newari style houses architecture have the windows which has many holes in it. It's very cleverly made. The one living inside the house can see what is happening outside via a window, but the one outside cannot see what's happening inside, and the ventilation happens through the holes. And always the doors of the Newari style temple are made very small. Like if you see the door over there, it is even smaller than the average height of Nepalese, because when somebody enters inside the house, they have to bow their head down. So when they are bowing their head down, symbolically it is like we're paying respect to the Mother Earth. This is why the Newari architecture door has small size, and the doors and the windows have holes in it. It's called Akhijal. On the side of Vishwarupa temple, we can explore the temple of Lord Ganesh, and this form of Lord Ganesh is called as Bahira Goddess. Bahira means deaf in English. So when somebody comes to pray to Bahira Goddess, they really have to shout, like scream loudly to make sure that he listens it. So now the reason why he is Bahira Goddess is because the god and goddesses in Hinduism are structured in such a way that they want to show the attributes of common human, which is present in god and goddesses as well. Like we have different physical conditions, different disability, so it's not just only with human, the living creature, but it had happened with the god and goddesses as well. So just to let the people know that god are not like mystical, they're not super powerful, like a fairy tale or a mystical thing, but they are so like human, so they also possess some kind of physical like dysfunctional things, like it could happen within human.
Exactly, and I also think that this also puts a point that the people who are physically challenged, okay, or somehow challenged on their side, they should not feel down. You should never feel down, because there are places like this which also portrays gods also had physical disabilities or physical challenges. Okay, so never put yourself down. Never ever put yourself down. You are there in your life doing something good, so just stay positive and stay strong. You're not a small person, you're something like that. Don't feel low on living on this planet. Just feel proud about it, about yourself, and keep giving, keep spreading love, keep spreading the knowledge. All right.
Beautiful.